evening at the Improv with tonight's host, Bill Silvers.
Well, Phil, welcome. Good to see you. Great to see you.
Well, anybody here?
Oh, good crowd.
Good crowd.
Yeah.
Any tuxedos?
No.
What are we waiting for? My kind of people.
Oh, all right.
Bud Friedman.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my very great pleasure to welcome tonight a man who has given two words, the English language, top banana. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Phil Silvers.
Thank you so very much for that wonderful reception. You show good taste. Thank you very much. It's so great to be here in an evening at the Improv. And I've got some wonderful news for you, those of you who care anything about my career or if I've entertained you. But as I look around, I got write-ups older than you people. But I am coming back to TV next season. Dear God, they can use me. And hey, I can handle whatever they throw at me because I came from the toughest background in show business, where so many aspiring comedians come. They tell me how tough it is to get started. You want to hear tough? When a guy complains and says it's tough, I worry about him. Because if you're an instinctive comedian, you don't ask. You go, you show up, you get your heart broken. I'll tell you what tough is. I come from a part of Brooklyn called Brownsville. You may have heard, whoever applauded, I assure you, is out on bail. And you told me I can't ad-lib. Where I come from, the papers often refer to it. It's way before your age limit, but it was referred to Murder Incorporated. There was no in-between in my neighborhood. You either got the chair or you became a judge. And talk about poverty. When my mother gave me the garbage to put out, I used to sell it. I knew there had to be a better way out. I knew there was a better life than this. And I made one of the great moves of my career. I went into burlesque, the birthplace of many of our greatest comedians. There, I learned. I watched the other comedians. I progressed as a comedian, but I confess, not as a human being. My lack of education held me back. How was I going to improve my education in burlesque? Let me explain what I mean. I went with a stripper. She was so dumb, she had to remove her sweater to count up to 2. Want to think that over for a while? Occasionally I would help her. But this is how they got me. There isn't enough money in this firm to pay me to appear here tonight. But when they said I could play this, you've been such a damn decent audience, you're going to get it. Oh, I love this thing. It's so like me. May I have a... That's about the closest we get. Oh, excuse me. I'd like to introduce a young man who was kind enough to help me, Mr. Leo the Lion. Oh, dear and gentlemen, when I start to play, lean back just a little. Sometimes there's a fine spray comes out. Stardust. Well, I was going to be lousy, huh? What you just heard cost my mother $30,000. What was that? I mean, that we didn't rehearse that, did we?
No, but
I mean, it's not my fault. It isn't something I cut in on you. You just felt like he's lonely. When did they become a unit? So you sign out front, starring at the Improv, Phil Silvers. It doesn't say anything about a nut that's going to play loud piano. What is that? I mean, I understand people's frustration. If you read, you understand. You know, the Freudian theory, he was sick of seeing me alone, capturing an audience. So he had to make his presence felt. It came out in the book. You must have read the book. Freud and his Inner Sanctions. You didn't read the book? Well, Freud maintained that in the libido, the alter ego manifests itself in anger. Well, there was a big debate. It was Freud and Spinoza. They were standing alone. There he was, bearded before his time at a big convention in Budapest. I believe it was Lowe's Budapest. And Freud told him about the theories that we do today. He told him about the heterogeneous sections, the alter ego, the frustrations. Well, there he stood alone, convinced them. His arch rival, Spinoza, standing there. There's one man in the balcony kept yelling, sex, it's sex. That was Havelock Ellis, unknown at the time. And finally, Freud stood there like an intellectual. In real essence, I should be applauding you. I've had a marvelous time tonight.